Sorry for not doing my face cam. I'm not feeling that good, but today I still wanted to kind of tough it out and make my review of Dying Light the Beast, which I know everyone was jumping out of their seats for this video. But in my Dying Light 2 video, I said that I'd kind of wait a little bit after I beat it to kind of let my feelings fully set in, and I hope you guys enjoy this video. Today I'm going to be talking about the story of it, the gameplay, parkour, the side quest, and just my overall enjoyment of it. I have a couple of videos of my playthrough of the game, which I might do another video, like kind of condensing everything into one big video, but probably not, because I'm just going to be condensed, or, you know, taken advantage of by Battlefield 6. So, I hope you guys enjoy the video, and let's get into the first segment. The story for Dying Light the Beast is going to be pretty straightforward. He plays Kyle Crane, a returning character from Dying Light, one of my favorite games of all time. I have a video on that if you are curious. But him being tested on by the Baron, or just a general facility controlled by the Baron, for over 13 years, he's eventually let loose and now has revenge for the Baron and everything that was kind of linked to him. So, when he breaks out eventually, due to the help of Olivia, they work together to kind of build up Crane's strength again by taking down chimeras, which are like different beasts that the Baron worked on, conveniently actually to... I don't want to actually get into spoilers, so I'm not going to say that. However, over the story, Crane gets stronger by collecting GSB, which is like a booster, due to Crane's wordage, for how to make him stronger and to just, you know, kind of overall boost him to get ready to fight the Baron in the end. That's like the best non-spoiler way to, you know, tell about it. Also, Olivia is the new Jade, for those that are curious. An absolute baddie in the working, and Techland just knows how to do it. You know, they had Lawan, they had Jade. Some people are going to be like Eva or whatever her name was, but I think she's like 15, so don't say that, whoever it is. But what was I saying? When watching other reviews, people do have a interesting point where the game doesn't really get good until like the second or third act, which I don't think is true entirely. I think the story alone is kind of already like played out, just because there's so many ways you can tell a Dying Light story, in my opinion. However, I do think that this is one of the best in the series. Due to nostalgia, I'm still going to say Dying Light 1 is still better. However, from everything in this game, I've gotten a extreme, like, what's it called? I'm looking forward to what Techland can do in the future with this format, and how they can kind of move forward into just other projects and just in general for this series, if it continues to go on. The gameplay department in this game is actually one of its best aspects. This being a beautiful mix of Dying Light 1 and 2. It's just so refreshing, I guess, to have kind of a polished build off launch. Like, everything that you had, or every clip in the background, is going to be like literally day 1 or day 2 of the game coming out. I no-lifed this game, I'm not going to lie, I no-lifed it. I think I have like 25 hours doing all of the content. Maybe it's like 35 or whatever, I don't know, however many it was, but I think it was an unhealthy amount that I found myself playing. But honestly, that shows that it was that good of a game, where I kind of got encapsulated in it. And honestly, that's due to the gameplay. I think the gameplay being a beautiful mix of Dying Light 1 and 2, sorry if I repeat myself, by the way, is just so nice to kind of look on, forward especially, like I mentioned at the end of the story segment. I'm looking forward to what this game kind of builds off of that. They have a mechanic called the Beast feature, which I'm not going to call it Beast mode, I think that's what they actually call it, but whenever like Crane gets like damage done on enemies, or when he gets hit, the bar slowly raises. That's the bar underneath the health bar, by the way. And as it progresses, early on in the game, Crane just goes into it immediately, instead of like having player like control it, which is later unlocked with different abilities and stuff by consuming GSB and progressing basically through the story. I think the gameplay and kind of the, you know, how they treat the player too is really respectable. They have a lot of returning abilities and stuff for parkour. Like, just giving right off the bat is so nice, and it just made the game, or at least the early game, feel way smoother. And especially with like the new like physical, sorry for saying that so much. The overall like change that they made to combat, and kind of just made it a more refreshed version of Dying Light 1. I really did appreciate it, and the parkour alone being a more realistic or grounded version of Dying Light 2, which was already one of the best in the series. I will still say that if everything in this game was ported over to Dying Light 2, which they could maybe do that in an update, honestly. I don't know if that would take a while, but if they did this in an update where they just update the new, you know, whatever this is into Dying Light 2, that would be one of the best moves they could ever do. The writing and the story aspects, probably that won't fix it, but the gameplay wise, we'll definitely see an upgrade. But I don't want to talk about the parkour that much, just because it's basically as good as Dying Light 2. I'm not gonna say that it's like anything other than that. It's truly amazing, and this game's just, like I've said multiple times, it's what I'm expecting now for Techland's new games. And maybe that's me just being a little picky, but yeah. The soundtrack in this game is honestly really well done. It has a lot of returning motifs from Dying Light 1 and 2, and just an original sound kind of mixed together. Like, my favorite song from the entire soundtrack, honestly, is probably going to be A Changed Man, which is a intro of, like, originally it sounds like, I think it's the starting screen and the main menu theme from Dying Light 1, but in a guitar, and then it cuts into this, like, very dark, like, bass, if you will, kind of, like, interrupting it, and kind of takes over the entire thing, and then it's very aggressively picked, which I really liked. This happens after a big story mission that I have footage of my actual, like, you know, clips in that I'm not going to spoil just because, you know, who cares. Anyways, the soundtrack for this game is really well done, and I hope that people kind of acknowledge this later. I hope it wins some award. It probably won't because, you know, fuck this, I guess, but I wish, the only thing I would say is that I wish it was, like, interactive or one of those, like, you know, fluctuating soundtracks, if that makes sense. Now I'm going to talk about the side content, which actually was extremely good, to my surprise. I was not expecting half of the stuff that they did. The one mission I instantly think of, which this isn't technically spoilers, so I'm going to talk about them as much as I want. The Starchild mission is, or that series of missions are so good, dude. Like, they are just, it's really well done. They have a lot of returning, like, callbacks, if you will, to Dying Light 1, which is kind of obvious. It's hard not to, especially with, you know, kind of Crane's trauma like that happened in Dying Light 1, and it's just such a nice, like, kind of detail for the player to find. I did all of the side content after I beat the game, which might have been an L, but I can imagine doing that in the, you know, campaign, you know, when it's supposed to be done, I guess, and that would be even cooler, I think, kind of with everything building up to the big, you know, climax. Some other, like, side content and just, like, kind of repeated missions, like finding safe houses, which is kind of fun. It didn't get really boring until, like, after I got the grappling hook, which is back. Not the paraglider, but the grappling hook is back. And setting up electrical, like, circuits, stations, whatever they're called, that are found all over the map, which might I just said, too. The map in this game is one of the best in the series. I will say that it is up there with both Haran and old, you know, Sector 0 in Dying Light 2, or 1, sorry. Just the overall connectivity of the game and how there's no fast travel, but yet I still am okay with walking or driving even, because driving's now in the game. I didn't mention this, but whatever, I don't care. Just the fluidity of the map and how it kind of all connects seamlessly. It's very nice. I thought that'd be one of my bigger complaints with the game. Just thinking of how, like, oh, it's mainly woods, and just how the world isn't really lived in, but it's literally the opposite. The world in this game is just so beautiful, and the side content really does sell that. With Starchild being more of, like, a scientist, really. I mean, he's not a scientist, but with the exiled people, which is later in the campaign, which isn't spoilers at this point, I don't really care. But if you made it this far, you've probably beat the game. But yeah, with the exiled people being an entire, like, new subspecies, I guess, if you will, it's a really nice, like, kind of area to dive deep into, especially with how they barely did it, except for, like, maybe in, I guess, the following with the mother. It's like a weird, you know, kind of area that they haven't ventured off to, that I'm glad that they kind of talked about with, you know, even in one side quest, I don't remember exactly what it was, but where there's, like, these two lovebirds, that we'll call them, I guess, in the Exiles cave that ran off and stuff, and then they go to, like, this hideout, And it's kind of like a big game of telephone for Crane, where he goes to this one place and then he looks all over, can't find him, and then leads over to one area where there's a note saying something for blah blah blah. And then anyways, the one person, like the dude, I think, died somehow, whatever. And then now we have to tell the lady who was dating or whatever, and to find out that she had a kid. And it was like, that's so cool, you know, on how that works, because Crane has his own little kind of thoughts on it, where how in the campaign or in the story or just other side quests, you can ask different questions depending on it if the player wants to or not. There's no new changing storylines, thank God, but just for the player's own, like, if they want to, they can just ask about just basically anything that's prompted. And like, I think Crane even has an option where it's like, you know, we can have kids. It's like, I thought, you know, if you're infected, you're infertile. And it's like, it's a cool thought where it's like, you don't think about that stuff until it happens in the game. And I'm kind of glad they went there. I'm sure some people would, you know, say that's woke or whatever, but who fucking cares? I don't know. I really did like this game, especially with the side content and how it just kind of kept you on your toes a little bit. I don't want to keep on rambling. I'm going to yap for the next segment, because you know what time it is.
Hey, I don't see any photo, but there's a drawing. Signed, Liam 9.
A year before the fall. Remind me, what'd I draw on there?
Well, seems like a happy family.
Grab it, turn around, and go to the balcony.
It's nice out here.
Right. Jamie and I would hide up there from our parents. We'd spend hours just looking up at the stars.
Well, here's to brotherly love. And to your health.
Unwinding. Chewing the breeze. Taking in the view. Moments like these are what make us human. Easy to forget that, huh?
Too easy.
Kyle, there's not much I have to offer, but treat this moment as a gift. From me to you.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it. Liam, your condition, how bad is it?
It's bad.
What about that medicine? Should we look for it? Will it help?
No.
The horror in Dying Light the Beast truly is scary. I would say that it is even more scary than Dying Light 1 and 2. I mean, that's not hard to beat Dying Light 2, but is actually very scary. In my playthrough that I have, those couple of parts, every time I started a chase, I was just audibly not talking. I couldn't, like, have a voice or just anything really going on while I'm playing, other than just focusing on not fucking up a chase. And that's what I really loved about the game. I was not daring to go out at night. I think nighttime in this game is, like, very fun in a non-fun way, if that makes sense. I think it's fun to kind of challenge yourself, which was kind of what I felt in Dying Light 1. Now, playing Dying Light 1 after this, which I haven't done, that might be an entire new, feeling where it's like, oh, okay, maybe Dying Light 1 isn't so bad. But in this game, at least, I felt that I was really at a, like, I was fucked if I got caught by a volatile. With the chase system being brought back, a new, like, variant of it, I guess, they are way more aggressive. Let me just say, volatiles are. There's like 4 already chasing you on like a level 1 chase, which is so weird compared to like every other game on how it starts with like 1 or 2 maybe, and then like some runners, and then it's like instantly to like 4 volatiles, and then maybe to like a handful of runners. But volatiles like roam the night per usual. With cars especially, you're fucked if it's night, and they do have UV flashlights, or headlights, I guess, which are neat. That's kind of cool. Back to horror, or the aesthetic of the game. It fits, bro. They have a lot of jump scares in the game. Kind of like unsettling, like atmosphere, you could say. I felt kind of like not wheezy, but it was like with their more like realistic tone, especially with like the zombie designs and stuff. I think in like a dev talk or whatever, they were saying that they wanted to kind of make the zombies look more human compared to what they usually do in other games, especially in the series, which I don't understand how that works entirely, just because this is like in 2037, a year, 16 years after the fall, which have been, I don't know, not like thinking about the lore of it, but still a little bit more focused on that more, not cartoony aspect, but the zombies do definitely look more like Dying Light 1 than they did in Dying Light 2, but they still have that Dying Light 2 look. Does that make sense? Dying Light the Beast also is just a great game when it comes to playing with friends. I have a couple of clips with Ryan. I'm not going to put any of them in. I don't even know if I'll make a video out of it. Probably not at this point. But I had a lot of fun playing it. However, a little pro tip, if you will. Do not play it when you are level 13, level 13 or 15 even, back on level 1. Because there's no scaling at all. So I'm like one-shotting everything in the game until eventually he'll get up to it. But I know that won't happen because, you know Ryan at this point. But I don't want to keep on yapping this much. I'm going to just jump into the outro. So if you made it this far, thank you so much. I don't know how you did, but expect maybe the BF4 recon video. I don't know if I will or not, but I mean, I don't know. I'm looking forward to BF6. I hope I feel better on BF, or on Friday at least, when at the time of recording this. It's Wednesday going on Thursday. I'm going to try to get better for BF6 and expect a Dead Rising Paul Blart stream. I'm going to announce that, I guess. So look forward to that.